Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another day at Ewetopia Farms. If you look around here, see how quiet it is? Fog makes it feel more quiet, and maybe it doesn't show it so much in the yard here, but when I go in, you can't see our forest back there. It's a really foggy day and silent. Usually Arnie says that's a sign of good weather, and we're hoping to get that hay baled up today. But you can feel the coolness in the air and the fog and stuff. It's a sure sign that fall is coming, and we gotta get a move on getting all the hay in and stuff, because when fall decides to come in, it usually comes in fast. But I just love the silence. However, enough of the silence. Let's get to work and get in the barns where I know there's always a lot of noise. Start the day. We've got this group fed. Tommy's fed too. Scotty's fed. Now we're gonna see if we have any escapees in here again today. Okay, red dots everywhere. I don't see any green dots in there. And do we have any red dots on this side? We never have had the red dots, so looks like all we needed to do was make it harder for them to climb in. I guess with that extra 8 inches of height, it looked like a tunnel when they were feeding, whereas now they're eating kind of level and nobody's going through. So that's good. You being good, Katie? Are you being a good girl? Yeah, you are. You are being a good girl. So in case somebody missed the video about us cleaning out this pen, or if you're just newly joining our channel, I'll just recap what happened here. We have our ram gladiator on this side. We've got breeding groups on either side of the barn here. So there's a ram on each side. And this is our ram gladiator. And he's a mature ram. He's a very big ram. And what was happening with the spacing we had, which was like it is on the other side over there, which was 7.5 inch spacings. What was happening was Gladiator didn't want to stick his head in there because he was getting stuck. And we didn't want him to get stuck, and we did want him to eat to his full potential because he's breeding a lot of ewes here. So as a temporary measure, before we totally replaced the bars on this feeder, what Arnie did is he went in and he took every other bar out so that Gladiator would have room to stick his head and not get stuck. You see that? It's quite a large gap there now. And normally we wouldn't have done that because lambs immediately would go in there, but these are big ewes. We didn't think it would be a problem. We thought the worst thing that could happen is that maybe there'd be more wastage of hay. But what did happen is one of these younger ewes, someone about her size, she's still a big ewe, but the bedding pack was higher. It was coming up to this ledge here, and that extra height, making her level with here, when she was eating in, instead of it being at neck level like it is now, it was more like at chest level. Were you the jumper? Were you the floozy? So we're thinking that she saw it as kind of like a tunnel, and for some reason thought it would be a fun thing to crawl through and walk into the feeder and start eating, which we don't want, of course, because now she's going to contaminate the feed. But also what happened was she was hopping over into Knockout's group over here, so we found a green dotted sheep on this side. So because we have registered sheep, that's not what we want to happen, because we want to know exactly which lambs are from which rams. So we put her back and thought it might have been just a fluke, but she did it for a few days in a row, and eventually a couple of others thought it might be a good idea, so they hopped in too. So yesterday we cleaned out this side of the barn to see if that would prevent them from going into the feeder and by mistake hopping into the wrong group when they were done, because they weren't lying in the feeder. They did eventually go back with a group, but right now it looks like the solution was that simple, which is good. We didn't have to do anything extreme, just keep the bedding pack low. So tomorrow's supposed to be a rain day, and we got that half a field of third cut hay all baled up, and now today Arnie's bringing it all home and getting it wrapped before the rain, and then the day after the rain he's going to head back and take the other half of the field down, because after the rain day we're supposed to have 2 weeks of good weather. It's hard to believe, but it looks like we might be able to get everything done. The bales are super green. We need smell-o-vision. You can really smell this alfalfa, right, Katie? The yard's turning into a maze with nice marshmallow-like tunnels. Good morning, Leonard. How you doing, bud? Hi. Hi. You waiting for your breakfast? You are a sweetheart. Oh my goodness. Yes. The girls on this side are mighty colorful today, with their green ears, red stripes, red crosses, red dots. But usually people come and pick their sheep and take them away, like right when they come. But this time everybody's taking them later, so hence all the coloring, so we know whose sheep are whose. But we always know that you're with us, Cupcake. We always know that, because you're unique. Yes. So these are the next group of breeding ewes here. that don't have a ram yet. So I'm thinking that tomorrow we're gonna be putting up divider walls and getting these girls sorted and set up for rams. We're gonna have one Dorset group and 2 Suffolk groups in here, and then in a few weeks we're gonna add those fall-born ewe lambs. They're gonna come in to make up the next Dorset breeding group, so we'll have 4 in here eventually. But maybe we can't decide on the rams we're gonna use. We know for sure Casanova we're gonna use on these Dorset ewes because he's unrelated to them. Big Betty will go in the lamb group because she's not being bred. But the Dorsets we're gonna put with Casanova, new bloodlines. We have to still decide between Cash and Klondike for the fall-born ewe lambs. I'm thinking it's going to be Cash, but we're going to go have a look at him later on today and really check to see who we really think is more appropriate for this year's breeding. And of course, we've got a few Suffolk rams to choose from too. We only need 2 rams, so we're gonna try pick those 2 out today as well. And our regular viewers know where we're headed now. The noisy lamb barn with Hot Lips in her spot. She's consistent. And you can see in this pen the 2 Suffolks with the X's on their back. They're going to a new home as well on Wednesday. 2 really nice ones actually. The 2 that were sold are right back here, so you can see them together. They got beautiful heads on them, good legs, good backs. One's a little taller, one's a little wider maybe. No, I think they're equal width. One's just a little taller. Pastures are growing up now, so we are wanting to let the rams back out to pasture, these guys. And the problem is we have Lamborghini in here and we don't want him to go to pasture in case he gets worms. So we're thinking we're going to have to catch him, get him out of here, and go put him in with Cracker. And we're definitely going to have to squeeze them up because at this time of year the rams are going to be fighting. So we got to work that out somehow. But the pastures have regrown, so we're going to want to start letting all the lambs that are staying back out on pasture so that they can be making use of the regrowth and the fresh grass and save us some money on feed. And now the wrapping has begun. Well, I don't even know if begun is the right word to use, as wrapping seems to be ongoing. As we're wrapping here, that sky is becoming a very ominous color. So he's going to be going as fast as he can to protect this 3rd cut. have a look at them again, because they change over the years. We would love to use Gimli again, but Gimli is very heavily in our flock. So we're just gonna get a few generations on the pedigrees before we put him back in the mix again, because inbreeding is always a concern. People talk about line breeding. If we don't have to, we'd rather not go that direction. Especially when we've got so many rams to choose from, we really don't have to do that. Let's see who else we have here. So we have a couple of decisions to make with the Suffolks. I'm pretty sure we're gonna use Quincy. This is Quincy here. He's looking in good shape after the summer. He produced a lot of really nice lambs for us. He's RR. He's new bloodlines, relatively speaking. But he's not related to any of the Suffolk ewes that are back there right now, and we spent a lot of money for him. So those are the reasons we're looking at him. Felon's out this year. He's an RR and he's one of our older guys, but he's showing his age and just don't trust his breeding ability as much. I know, Quincy, you've got a little bit of an attitude, but we've chosen you, so you should be happy about that. Okay. Who are you, buddy? You look really nice. Oh, here's Cash. Cash is the Dorset ram that I'm wanting to use. Got really nice testicles, nice on his legs. And I talked about him being smooth. And it's hard, the camera wants to narrow things that are farther away. But from his rump to his shoulders, he's very even all the way along. And he's a very long ram too. Now he's squished in there, but believe me, he's long. If you look at him compared to the other rams there, and all of our sheep are long sheep, he does have a slight sag in his back. It's ever so slight. He gets that from his dad because we have noticed that Sheriff tends to sag. And this is who he's up against, Klondike here. And Klondike's a heavy ram. Arnie likes him because he is heavy. He's standing really terrible right now, so. But he is probably wider than Cash, for sure. Good testicles and stuff on him as well. His legs seem to be all right. But the dip on his shoulder, the dip is right, you can see there's his shoulder and there's his back, and there's kind of a hollow. And I think he's a little more pot-bellied looking. I don't know. And he doesn't have too much wool on his face. I mean, that's great if we use him on a woolly ewe, but I really am leaning towards Cash here. This boy here. And Casanova is here. He's the yearling ram. We bought him as a lamb at the Classic last year. He's the one going in with the adult ewes. The thing I don't like about him is that his owner cut his tail off way too short. Luckily he's not a ewe, so he doesn't have to have lambs, because cutting those muscles around the tail can lead to prolapsing if you're having a difficult birth. Ferdinand is beautiful, but Ferdinand and Gaston there we can't use. They're like Gimli. They're going on the back burner for at least a year, because Just 2 related in our flock right now. And actually, I'm looking at Quincy, and he's fallen right down on his back legs. How does that happen? So I'm thinking, I'm going to show that to Arnie, but I'm thinking Quincy's out. Not going to do that. Maybe we'll use Hilton instead. And our toss-up ram, to be honest, is one of our big tall guys right here. Jed. He's beautiful. He's from some really old bloodlines of ours. He goes back to Woody and Dexter. Dexter's his dad. Woody's his granddad, and Woody was one of our foundation rams. His fault is that he's tall, but he is an RR. He's really nice. Come on, buddy. And I'm really leaning towards him to put just a little bit of that old blood back in the sheep, because we got a lot of new ones from Happy Hollow, like Handsome, Quincy, and Hilton. But to me, their weaknesses from that farm are their legs. They're pasterns. Their pasterns could be better. So when we select our replacement ewe lambs, we look for that. We don't let it carry on, but it's not something we want to be injecting in there. But we do have Handsome as a choice too. Hey, Handsome, did really well for us the year before last. Hey, sweetheart. He's not the prettiest ram on his face. Don't like his face. I don't know, not black enough for me. But the alternative is Hannibal. So either Hannibal, who's our British ram, so he's our shortest ram. Look at the testicles and legs on him. He's a humdinger. And we haven't used him a lot. We've been using him on grades. And the reason we've been doing that is that he's a QR. Hi, Jed. You are beautiful. I'm really leaning towards you. Yeah, I am. I am, because you're a big boy. But we'll put you on some nice shoes maybe, hey? Oh my goodness. You are special. Hey, Hannibal. Hey, Monty. Here's Monty. Monty's nice from behind, too. What was his front end I didn't like? Come on, move out of the way. There's Hannibal. Hannibal's a definitely British ram. Big blocky head. And Jed is a little prettier. There we go, Hannibal. Can you move for a second so I can see Hannibal? Move, General. General, move. There he is. I know, you want to be picked. You want to be one of the chosen. Yeah, Quincy, you look really good, but what is that with the feet? Don't like that. Don't like that at all. Okay, so my suggestion to Arnie's probably going to be Casanova and Cash for the Dorsets, Jed and Hilton for the Suffolks. But I'm always negotiable. It's very hard. All of those rams are RR. That all goes in their favor. I want the good legs. It's very important. And I want them to be pretty attractive too for the breed. So there's Benny. Poor Max gets locked behind the gate because he barks constantly and drives Arnie crazy when he's doing this. But Ben, you know Ben, he's the pleaser. Doesn't ever want to get yelled at. So he's always really well behaved. You're a good boy. You're really good. So I'm going to go in the house now and ponder that, decide what we want to do, and Arnie can finish up on that. And tomorrow, I'm thinking we might be doing breeding groups, so we'll make a decision then. But also somebody asked us to talk about what we think sheep are missing or what people should be looking more for when choosing sheep, and what maybe the industry is not paying attention to. So that's going to be a real opinion piece because everyone has their opinions on that, but I said I would do that, so probably that's what we're going to be looking at talking about tomorrow. So until then, hope you enjoyed your time with us, and be sure to join us again for the next episode at Ewetopia Farms. Bye for now.